Guderian vs Rommel, a peak showdown of battlefield command in World War II. Dear listeners, hello. Welcome to today's Military History Special program. Today, we're focusing on two legendary German commanders of World War II, Heinz Guderian and Erwin Rommel. One is hailed as the father of Blitzkrieg, the other renowned as the Desert Fox of North Africa. When it comes to battlefield command, both have their unique strengths and left behind countless classic examples. In this episode, we'll dive into their signature campaigns, command styles, adaptability, and lasting impact to stage a timeless showdown and uncover who truly reigns supreme on the battlefield. Are you ready? Let's get started. Act 1. A clash of campaign brilliance. Let's begin with their campaign achievements. Both Guderian and Rommel made their mark in World War II, particularly during the 1940 Battle of France, where they first showcased their talents, albeit in very different ways. Guderian's campaign legacy. Heinz Guderian, born in 1888 to a Prussian military family, was a pioneer of armored warfare. In the 1940 Battle of France, he commanded the 19th Panzer Corps, tasked with executing the Manstein Plan. His mission? Break through the Allied lines at Sedan and charge straight to the English Channel. It sounded like a gamble, but Guderian turned it into reality. His armored units sliced through the Allied defenses like a sharp blade. The campaign kicked off on May 10th, and by May 20th, his tanks were at the coast, splitting the Anglo-French forces in two and trapping hundreds of thousands of troops at Dunkirk. This victory wasn't just a tactical triumph, it was a strategic turning point that led to France's surrender in just 6 weeks. Guderian's contribution was indispensable. Now, let's shift to the Eastern Front. In the 1941 Battle of Kiev, Guderian led the 2nd Panzer Group in a textbook encirclement operation alongside other units. Over 600,000 Soviet troops were trapped, and the Germans captured vast amounts of equipment. Regarded as the largest encirclement in World War II, this campaign showcased Guderian's command prowess to the fullest. His armored forces flowed like an unstoppable torrent. Rommel's campaign miracles. Erwin Rommel, born in 1891 in Swabia to a civilian family, rose through the ranks with sheer military talent. In the 1940 Battle of France, he led the 7th Panzer Division, nicknamed the Ghost Division. His troops smashed through the Maginot Line at breakneck speed, penetrating deep into French territory, often leaving the enemy grasping at shadows. He wrote in his diary, "Speed is everything." His division could advance over 100 kilometers in a single day, bewildering the Allies and adding a vivid chapter to Germany's Western Front victory. But Rommel's true legend was forged in North Africa. In 1941, he took command of the Afrika Korps, facing a well-equipped British force. Despite the odds, he worked wonders in the desert. Take the 1941 Battle of Tobruk. He used feints to confuse the enemy, then struck from the flank to swiftly seize this strategic stronghold. In the 1942 Battle of Gazala, with less than half the British strength, he crushed his opponents, nearly driving them out of North Africa. Though outnumbered, his forces struck like a desert whirlwind, leaving the enemy defenseless. Comparison and reflection. Guderian's campaigns were grand in scale, directly shaping the war's broader outcome. Think of the Battle of France cementing Germany's early strategic edge. Rommel's campaigns, meanwhile, were more theatrical, excelling at winning against the odds through tactical ingenuity. If war is a chessboard, Guderian is the master of grand strategy, while Rommel is the genius of local breakthroughs. Dear listeners, which kind of victory do you admire more? Act 2. The art of battlefield command. Campaigns are just the surface. True command ability shines in battlefield decision-making and execution. Guderian and Rommel couldn't be more different. One relies on systems, the other on instinct. Guderian. Systematic iron fist command. Guderian was the quintessential, systematic commander. His core philosophy was the concentrated use of armored forces, paired with air support, to break through enemy lines at lightning speed. He wasn't just a practitioner, he was a theorist too. His book Panzer laid out the principle of don't scatter your strength, strike with a clenched fist. In the Battle of France, he defied his hesitant superiors, even disobeying orders to push forward. His troops, equipped with radios, moved like a well-oiled machine. He often said, "Time is the key to victory." This decisiveness and precision made him unbeatable when conditions were right. Take the Sedan breakthrough. Guderian was on the front lines, ensuring every Panzer Division followed the plan. His command vehicle doubled as a mobile HQ, constantly tweaking deployments. His style was, "Plan first, strike like thunder are." Once the battle began, his forces were like a wound-up clock, unstoppable. But this approach had its flaws. On the Eastern Front later on, facing the Soviets' deep defenses and harsh weather, his systematic command faltered. In the 1941 Moscow campaign, his tanks bogged down in mud, supplies ran dry, and he had to order a retreat, sparking a full-blown rift with Hitler. Rommel, the improvisational desert dance. Rommel was the polar opposite, a master of improvisation. His command brimmed with daring and adaptability. In North Africa, he'd often race to the front in a jeep, scoping out the enemy himself before making snap tactical shifts. In the Battle of Tobruk, he spotted a gap in the British line, ordered dummy tanks to draw fire, then led his main force in a flank attack, catching the enemy off guard. Though his gear was inferior, he always found the enemy's weak spot. Rommel's battlefield intuition was jaw-dropping. During Gazala, he deliberately pulled back to lure the British in, then counterattacked, scattering them in disarray. His troops recalled, "Rommel always made us believe victory was within reach." He was more than a commander, he was an inspirer. Yet, boldness came at a cost. In the 1942 Battle of El Alamein, overconfidence led him to neglect logistics. With fuel and ammo depleted, his forces had no choice but to retreat, ending in defeat. Comparison and reflection. Guderian's command was like a meticulously composed symphony, rhythmic and powerful. Rommel's was more like improvisational jazz, spirited and free-flowing. One triumphed through structure, the other through instinct. Which style do you think suits the chaos of the battlefield better, listeners? Act 3. The test of adaptability. Battlefield conditions are unpredictable, and the commander's adaptability is critical. How did Guderian and Rommel fare under varying challenges? Guderian, a condition-dependent panzer master. Guderian's Blitzkrieg thrived on three pillars: flat terrain, ample supplies, and rapid mobility. In the West, he had France's highways. In the early East, he had Ukraine's wide plains, perfect for his armor juggernaut. In the Battle of Kiev, he leveraged the terrain to encircle the Soviets swiftly, embodying Blitzkrieg at its finest. But when conditions soured, his weaknesses emerged. In the fall of 1941 on the Eastern Front, the rainy season turned roads to mud, bogging down his tanks. Soldiers quipped they'd become turtles in the mire. Winter brought freezing cold and mechanical failures. During the Moscow campaign, his forces were just 20 kilometers from the target, but stalled due to supply breakdowns and brutal weather. His command suffered in harsh environments. Rommel, a tactical genius in harsh conditions. Rommel, by contrast, turned adversity into opportunity. In North Africa's deserts, sandstorms, heat, and scarcity were the norm, but he made them work for him. He used dust clouds to conceal troop movements and terrain to offset his numerical disadvantage. At Tobruk, he exploited the desert's openness to outflank the British in a stunning side assault. Even in France, he showed versatility. His Ghost Division darted through forests and towns with ease, adapting to varied landscapes. But logistics remained his Achilles heel. In North Africa's later stages, Allied air and sea dominance choked his supply lines, leaving his troops stranded without fuel or ammo. The defeat at El Alamein stemmed from this unresolved flaw. Comparison and reflection. Guderian was a dancer who needed a flawless stage. The better the conditions, the more dazzling his performance. Rommel was an artist who could improvise on a rickety platform. The tougher the setting, the more resilient he proved. In adaptability, Rommel seems to edge ahead. What do you think, listeners? Act 4. Results and Impact. Finally, let's examine their command outcomes and broader influence. Great battlefield leadership isn't just about immediate wins. It's about the legacy left behind. Guderian, architect of strategic triumph. Guderian's results were strategic game changers. The Battle of France handed Germany Western Europe on a platter, paving the way for further conquests. The Battle of Kiev delayed the Soviet counteroffensive, buying Germany precious time. His Blitzkrieg didn't just rack up victories, it reshaped warfare itself. Allies studied his methods, making them a cornerstone of modern armor tactics. Yet, his impact waned later. Clashes with Hitler sidelined him after 1941, relegating him to staff roles rather than frontline command. Rommel, creator of tactical legends. Rommel's victories leaned tactical. His North African campaigns, though unable to alter the war's course, boosted German morale immensely. His name struck fear into the Allies. British troops even joked, "When Rommel shows up, we'd better run." His charisma and battlefield feats made him one of WWII's most iconic figures. But his successes were fleeting. After North Africa's collapse, he was recalled to Europe, and in 1944, implicated in the plot to assassinate Hitler, he was forced to take his own life, missing the war's end. Comparison and reflection. Guderian's command wielded lasting influence, rewriting the rules of war. Rommel stunned the world in the moment, crafting a personal legend. In the long run, Guderian takes the lead. In the spotlight of the present, Rommel shines brighter. Which impact resonates more with you? Finale. Who reigns supreme? Dear listeners, Guderian and Rommel's battlefield command abilities are a study in contrasts. Guderian, the systematic maestro, wielded an iron fist of armor with unmatched strategic might. Rommel, the nimble genius, danced through the desert with tactical brilliance that captivated all. So, who's the stronger commander? Craving strategic scale and enduring legacy? Guderian's your man. His Blitzkrieg redefined warfare. Yearning for tactical marvels and heroic flair? Rommel won't disappoint. His battlefield instincts were peerless. Guderian's iron fist or Rommel's whirlwind? Who's your champion? Share your thoughts with us. That's all for today's show. Thanks for tuning in, and see you next time.